Okay, it's Sunday again, and once again another game lined up. I'm actually playing the same army as I played last week, and so I was playing a very similar army to what we played last week. I think he's just adjusted it a little bit. So it's a 2,500 points, and it's Watchtower. We actually rolled from that. We didn't originally roll Blood and Glory, but as neither of us are like 1 point away from the break points, we thought it'd probably be quite a short game, so we didn't bother. So basically we're playing Watchtower, we're playing the same rules we had last time. The Watchtower's worth about 500 points, so if you have it at the end you get another additional 500 victory points. It's better than just auto-winning the game, because let's face it, if one of our, size bloodletters get in there, then it's game over anyway, so we did it that way. Okay, so run you through my army. I have a Hell Cannon, and I've got 4 Juggernauts with a Musician, a Nurgle Gorby's Chariot, 17 Warriors of Nurgle with halberds and the BSB, Chimera, hiding behind the Barn of Destiny, as it's Snore. I've got 7 Trolls with Throg, a Demon Prince, who's my level 4, he's of Nurgle, and 5 Hounds. And that's it for my army. I'm going to hand you over to Si. Si actually won the roll, so deploying the tower, but he neglected to do so. Just because he didn't have any units that would go in there, and so consequently I've got the first turn. So that's why you'll see like my Demon Prince sitting next to some hounds, which ordinarily would be a really stupid idea, as I believe he can run off the board if they die. So I'm going to hand you over to Si now.
Okay, run you through my list. As Ollie says, it's fairly similar to last time. I have a Beast of Nurgle on my left flank. I have a horde of 30 Demonettes of Zinch, of Slaanesh, sorry, not Zinch, I wish. And there is a Slaaneshi Herald. Then I have a Skull Cannon of Khorne. I know I'm torturing myself, but yeah, you know. Then have a Keeper of Secrets, who is a level 4 of Shadow. I'm really liking the Skaven guy as my demon. I think you might get used for that purpose permanently. I then have another Skull Cannon of Khorne and 30 Bloodletters led by Herald of Khorne. Then I have some Blood Crushers in this case. They're not quite as good as their counterparts. And then just in front of them are a unit of 6 Seekers of Slaanesh and another Beast of Nurgle.
Unbreakable does make them immune to psychology. So it won't run away. That's good.
Like Ollie says, he will be getting the first turn. So we will see you at the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 1. Pretty quick turn. I shuffled things up. Well, I say shuffled, I full on marched things forward, trying to be super aggressive. Trolls passed their stupidity, thankfully. Demon Prince moved up, as did everything else. Then in the magic phase, I only rolled 5 dice, so I got 3, no channels. I cast Curse of the Leper on my Demon Prince to give him +1 toughness. Unfortunately I rolled a 1. Failed to get the lore attribute. Then Side dispelled my Stream of Corruption, which I attempted to cast on the Seekers of Slaanesh. So that was it for that. And then the Hell Cannon took a pot shot at his general. Unfortunately scattered off exactly onto Skulltaker's head. And managed to kill, he passed his lookout sir, but it did kill 5 bloodletters, so that was pretty good. And that was it. So it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Demons of Chaos, turn 1. Turn of mixed blessings. As Ollie was playing super aggressively, I decided to meet that aggressiveness with some of my own. And I charged the Demonettes successfully into the Skull Crushers. I moved everyone else forward, including the Bloodletters, into the Watchtower to hold the objective. Then to get the Seekers out of the way of the Blood Crushers, I charged them first at the Dogs. Ollie elected to flee, and then redirected into the Trolls. And then with these guys then freed up, I charged them into the Demon Prince, knowing that if they could hold him up for a turn, it would sort of halt his advance into my into my flanks. So with that, I had some trepidation. I thought, well, basically I need Occams on these guys, and I win over here. So I rolled for a magic phase, got 4, but it was enough. I still had a 1 dice advantage over Ollie, and with bated breath I rolled the dice, and I rolled 3 1s and 2. So yeah, Occams didn't go off. So I was thinking, oh dear, bad times. Then shooting, this guy let me down. I shot at his hell cannon, rolled a 2 for the overshot, and then a misfire for the bounce. So it just thudded firmly in front of the hell cannon, doing nothing. However, in a beautiful turn of luck, this guy sniped a bloody sniped his BSB. I rolled another 2 for the overshot, and then an 8 for the bounce. Ollie rolled a 1 for his lookout, sir. I slotted him, did 4 wounds. He failed his ward save, so splidged him, and then killed another 2 dudes. And so, yeah, well, this guy screwed up. This guy, he more than made up for it. Then in close combat, the Seekers obviously got destroyed. Nothing more than chaff. They did, however, kill a troll before they went down, which was rather nice. And then over here, thankfully the Demon Prince whiffed his attacks a bit, and I managed to make my ward save. As I was to point out on the roll of a 4, my magic phase reduced everyone in my army's ward save to a 5. From a 5 to a 6. So that was a bit crap. However, I didn't roll any 5s for any of my ward saves, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, they took a wound, and then in return did a massive 2 wounds back to the Demon Prince with some nice jammy rolling. So yeah, I was rather pleased with that. So his unbreakableness, though, he's staying put because he knows he's eventually going to bugger him up. So yeah, and then over here, obviously without Occams, I thought, oh, bad times. However, the Herald managed to put 2 wounds on a guy, and then with a massive 29 attacks, 23 hits, and well, not bad. I think it was 7 wounds. I did another wound, and well, to be fair, he got 2 up armor saves, so he'd be expected to make most of those. And yeah, I managed to kill one before got to attack back, so that was a potential sort of 7 wounds he could have done to me there. And then in return, he managed to do 6 wounds. Well, the Herald got incredibly lucky, and she survived the frenzied attack of another one of those skull crushers. So I kind of got away with it there. So the combat ended as a draw. Then yeah, that was pretty much it. That was the turn. So it's now on to Warriors of Chaos turn 2.
Okay, it's into Warriors of Chaos turn 2, and the action's really kicking off now. Charge wise, I charged the chariot into the demonettes. I was going to charge the Chimera in, but it was actually needed a 21. Didn't think it was worth it. Didn't really want to get sniped by a cannon just yet. Although I'm dithering with that, which is a bit of a problem. I don't know, he just doesn't seem to like flaming cannons. It's a bit strange. Okay, so yeah, the Hell Cannon failed its roll and decided it would charge after his attention-seeking beast of Nurgle. So I thought it was quite funny. And then that was pretty much it for movement. The Hounds managed to rally using Throb's leadership, which is nice. And the Chaos Warriors just moved up a bit, so that was it. Then the magic phase, I rolled an 8, so I got channel, so he had 7. I managed to get off Curse of the Leper to give my Demon Prince +3 toughness. Didn't get the lore attribute. I cast Miasma of Pestilence on the trolls, failed to get the lore attribute, and then side dispelled Fleshy Abundance, which just to give the trolls an extra +1 regen. He originally tried to dispel this as well, but unfortunately failed it. So that was it for magic. There was no shooting because the Hell Cannon was chasing after doggies. Then in close combat, the Demon Prince used his breath weapon, just try and get the edge on these Skull Crushers, as they'd already done 2 wounds to him. So I used that, got 10, only managed to got 2 wounds through. Even with his 6-up ward, he still managed to save most of them. Then I used his actual attacks and got another 5 wounds through, as they all hit, all wounded, and he failed to save all of them. Unfortunately I didn't get any soul feeders, which is a bit of a shame, so I got no wounds back. But I did actually manage to pop them, so they're gone now, which is nice. So that was it for him. And then this combat, I obviously charged the chariot in. The heralds managed to do unfortunately nothing. I managed to save it. And the rest of the demonettes had a ridiculous amount of attacks, loads of hits, but unfortunately only got like 3 or 4 wounds through, and I managed to save them all. So they actually did nothing. Then in return, my chariot did I think 2 impact hits, but I failed to wound, so they did nothing. But then I put one of the riders and the charioteers onto the herald. I managed to do a single wound to her, even with just a 6-up ward save as defence. Then I put the gore beast on her as well and actually killed her at a different initiative step. The other 2 riders, the 3 juggernauts, just attacked the unit and murdered a few of them. I won the combat and he passed his stability, so we found out that demons actually benefit from steadfast, which is quite nice. Bit of a shame for the undead though, you still get stuffed with their unstable rule, but the demons get a nice one because they still get steadfast, stubborn, all that kind of jazz, so they're good. So yeah, they're going to hold me up for bloody ages now. So that's it. So it's the end of my turn, really. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Still a bit worried by his Keeper of Secrets having Occam's Mind Razor, especially as I wasn't able to shoot him with the cannon this time. So we'll have to see what happens. So we're going to have a cup of tea, and then we're going to get on with size next turn. So we'll see you at the end of Demons of Chaos turn 2, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, it's the end of Daemons of Chaos, turn 2. Basically, I shifted some people around. The Keeper of Secrets moved across. The Noble Beast moved up to redirect the trolls, as did that guy there, just in case the Hell Cannon went on a bit more of a rampage. That was it for movement, really. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 7, so I got my ward save back, but nothing else happened. Unfortunately, even though I managed to get Enfeebling Foe off on the Skull Crushers, I rolled a bit too low for Occam's Mind Razor, and Ollie just had loads of dice, so he dispelled that. And yeah, that kind of left me a bit in the dark. So it was then on to close combat, and as you can see, I lost quite a few more demonettes, but still being steadfast, I held, and yeah, so I'm sort of sat there currently getting spanked. So that was basically the end of Demons of Chaos turn 2, and it's now time for Warriors turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 3. Right, so the trolls charged into the Beast of the Noble. The Demon Prince flew over here. The dogs moved up, not really need them now. The warriors charged into the tower. These guys continued to grind the demonettes. The Chimera bravely moved up here, reasoning that I needed to use it, just for the sake of sanity. I hate seeing a big old expensive point sink like that sitting behind a barn for the whole game. Although I've done it several times in the past, but to be fair, he was casting spells. So happy memories of my Demon Prince. Right, so and that was pretty much it. The Hell Cannon passed his roll, and then we got straight into it. So the magic phase, I think I've got 8 dice. I managed to cast, I attempted to cast, well I did actually cast the left one of these guys. I rolled quite high, so I unfortunately declined to dispel it, which is fair enough because I had a couple of other spells that were pretty nasty as well. So I didn't dispel it, and I rolled a 3, so they actually got +3 to their toughness. And then I actually rolled for the lore attribute and got +1 toughness and wounds on the Demon Prince, so I was over the moon with. So now he's toughness 6, but with 3 wounds now instead of just 2. So he's looking pretty healthy. And then he managed to cast Dispel my Miasma of Pestilence, which would have messed up his bloodletters a little bit as well. Quite a bit, in fact. So, and then that was pretty much it. In the shooting phase, I attempted to shoot at his Keeper of Secrets. Unfortunately, scattering off 2, still clipped it, but wasn't enough to wound it. So I got away with that. Well, that would have got rid of his 2-up ward if it's the first wound, if I had wounded it, which would have been nice, but it wasn't to be. Then in close combat, these guys managed to finally grind out the Demonettes, even with their -2 to their strength. So they finally popped. There was only about 3 left, and they popped. The Trolls managed to kill the Beast of Nurgle, who failed a lot of regen saves, so he was dead. I think he did a wound in return. And then these warriors, who were tough as 7, sent 10 of their finest in, against 10 of the finest Bloodletters. Bloodletters managed to get 2 killing blows, taking out 2 of them. And then I managed to kill 4 in return and won the combat. But of course, he's stubborn 9 or 10 with a reroll.
No, I can't.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Right, stubborn 8 with a reroll. So he was fine. So that was it. Yeah, so that's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 3. So I've reformed my battle line, so it's pretty good now. Super happy I've got a lore attribute off for the first time ever. It really makes a difference, morale wise if nothing else. So that's it, the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Demons of Chaos turn 3. Not a great turn. Very little happened. These guys twiddled around to shoot Skull Crushers, and me Keeper of Secrets moved around the back there. And that was basically as good as it got, because the magic phase was pretty poor. I rolled pretty badly for Ocken's Mind Razor again. Didn't get it off. Just happened to be failed it by 1. I got a roll of 21. I should have stuck at a 6th dice on. However, it was a 6, which meant I would have miscast. So it's probably just as well, because that would probably be end of the game by now. Yeah, that was it was pretty nasty, because even though I managed to miasma the weapon skill of the Chaos Warriors by 1, unfortunately I still am only a pitiful strength 4. So yeah, not so great. So that was about all that happened, other than the shooting. I managed to absolutely fail miserably. I rolled both cannons, rolled misfires in a row, meaning they can't move, they can't shoot next turn. So yeah, that was basically the turn was an utter write-off. So yeah, it's now time for Warriors of Chaos turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 4, and I got even more aggressive. Pretty much charged everything I had, I think. Well, not quite. So I charged the Trolls into the cannon, I charged the Skull Crushers into the other cannon, I charged my cannon into his Beast of Nurgle. I reformed the chariot to face this way. Main reason for that was I thought if the Keeper of Secrets came in there, he'd kill him anyway, and this way, if he charged into warriors, I could support them. And vice versa, if he kills that and overruns into the tower or reforms, I can still charge him with these guys should I need to. So that was my thinking there. The Chimera flew over the building, so just stay away from the Keeper really, because he didn't really stand a chance against him. Demon Prince also charged into the building, he's the only one charging in. And that was it. And the dogs just moved away from the Chimera should they die. They would cause quite a horrible panic test on that Chimera. So that's what they did. Then the magic phase, I rolled 10 dice, so I got 6, and I channeled 1 as well, so I had 11. I managed to cast Curse the Leper on the Demon Prince, upping his toughness by 1. And then actually got the lore attribute again, so he's actually toughness 7 base, with that on as well. He was toughness 8, and he's got 4 wounds out of 6, because he took 2 wounds earlier, so he was looking pretty healthy. Um, I don't think I think so. I dispelled my other spell. Oh, I attempted to cast something else. It was Miasma of Pestilence on him as well. So I dispelled it, and then I elected. Well, that was the first thing I cast. Then I cast that, and then I elected to cast no more spells. I didn't want to risk blowing them up. Just quit while I'm ahead. And then in the shooting phase, obviously was none because the cannon was in close combat with that. And then we just moved straight into close combat. So the cannon fought the beast, managed to do a wound to it. The beast in return did nothing to the cannon. So he failed. He lost combat by 1, but he held. The Skull Crushers charged into the cannon, took 1 wound on the dangerous terrain, and he failed to wound me in return, and I managed to do 1 wound to him. Then I think he lost combat by 1 and took another wound from instability, or whatever it's called for demons. These trolls charged into the flank of that, whiffed all their attacks, including Throg. I think I managed to do 1 wound to him. He passed his instability test, so they're still slugging it out. Even with Throg's strength 8, I managed to roll a ridiculous amount of 1s. And then the Demon Prince went into the tower and sorted some people out. He went in there, hit with all his attacks, wounded with all his attacks. So made 1 of the saves, 3 of them. So he lost 2 guys. And he lost. How many did you lose in total?
I lost 3 in total, but that was because you.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But so he lost 2, and then he crumbled by 1. Unfortunately, he had his 10 attacks against me, only got 4 hits, needed 6s to wound, and failed to wound me, because my tough of 8, and my 2 up armor save would have helped as well. So he bounced off the Demon Prince. So I'm whittling them down slowly. How many are left in the tower now?
There are, 16 left.
There's 16 left, okay, so there's still plenty in there to hold me up for a while. So that's it. So it's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 4, and although I'm mopping up his army, those bloodletters are pretty nasty in there, and as I can only send 1 thing in to attack them each time, it's going to take a while to get them out of there. So, and his Keeper of Secrets still running around the board, doing what the hell she likes, because she moves like a ridiculous amount. So that's the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 4.
Okay, it's Demons of Chaos turn 4, end of. Not much happened. I just moved my Keeper of Secrets round, and that was it. Magic phase. I got 6 dice, threw all of them an Occam's Mind Razor, which I miscast. Got away with it though, just with Power Drain. So they're Occam's. Then that was about it. The Skull Crushers put 2 wounds on those. I put 2. They put a wound on that. I put a wound on there. They won the combat though because of the musician, but I held. That was fine. Over here, unfortunately, Throg finally managed to wipe it out, but not before those guys took another couple of wounds. And that was. Oh yeah, and over here, the Hell Cannon managed to finish off the Beast of Nurgle. So that was pretty much it. So it's now on to Warriors turn 5.
Okay, so the end of Warriors of Chaos turn 5. I charged Throg into the Keeper of Secrets, mainly for shits and giggles, really. I charged the Demon Prince into there, completely forgetting they had Occam's Mind Razor cast on them. So it wasn't the greatest idea, although he's toughness 7 at the moment, so that's pretty nice. These guys just reformed, so they can move into town next turn potentially. He reformed in case Throg needed any help. Cannon just, don't know what the cannon did actually, I don't think I did use the cannon. Completely forgot about it, although there was no actual targets anyway. Okay, so that was it for movement. The magic phase, I managed to cast Curse of the Leper on Throg to give him +3 toughness. I actually got a second lore attribute. That's what made me toughness 7 and have 5 wounds. No, sorry, that was last time, wasn't it? It's just I gained the wound back somehow from the Soul Feeder, that's what it was. Sorry, just getting my turns confused. Throg charged them, Hellcannon did nothing. So we went straight into close combat because there was nothing else to do. The Skull Crushers still failed to actually kill the cannon, doing no wounds to it, and it did nothing to me. So that was just a bust. The Demon Prince charged in here, managed to kill a couple of Bloodletters. They of course attacked me back, and I completely forgot about Occam's Mind Razor, which I was quite happy to point out, and actually did 3 wounds to me. I gained 1 back from my Soul Feeder during my attacks, but I actually managed to live just because I had 5 wounds, and he did 3 to me. So I've got 1 wound left on my 2 wounds left, sorry, on my Demon Prince. So he's still alive, thankfully, but that will teach me not to charge him in when they have Occam's Mind Razor on them. So he's still alive, thankfully. Then that was pretty much it. And then Throg charged into the Keeper of Secrets with his toughness 7, pretty confident. Sai hit me, managed to do a single wound to me, but which was of course doubled because he had the thing that allowed him to do double wounds. So I actually took 2 wounds. Then in return, I used my breath weapon, which did 2 wounds to him. And then I actually hit him with my axe, did another wound to him. And then he actually popped through combat res, because he rolled quite a high amount. He needed a 6 or less, so yeah, he rolled a 9. So he popped, Throg got thrown Eye of the Gods and got +1 toughness. So he's actually toughness 8 at the moment. And consequently, Sai conceded at this point, as he then has the Bloodletters left. And as we pointed out, we'd only get 500 victory points for the tower. And that is the only thing left in his army. Well, he can't win if he tried. Oh, he's got his cannon left, actually. Well, his cannon could win the day, but not in one turn. So, yeah, so Sai's decided to concede at this point, which is fair enough. Yeah, what an awesome game though, really fun. I really enjoyed that actually. Obviously it's always enjoyable when you win, but it was a lot of stuff happened. We were both pretty aggressive and just went for it, you know. There's no right kind of moving backwards or anything, or, you know, that kind of stuff. We just charged at each other to see what would happen. Well, I'm super impressed with how my army did though. It always amazes me that such a small model count can still perform so well. I absolutely love those Skull Crushers, even though they can't kill the cannon on their own. But they did just charge, they even got charged by the Demon X, and they just, they didn't tear them up, but they just held out for ages and still managed to grind them out, and still in relatively good tact as well. So, Trolls did pretty good, although they were only eating chaff for most of the game. They did eventually kill a cannon, but as we know, those cannons are super tough. The Chimera did absolutely bugger all, but that's mainly because it's afraid of the cannons again, with their flaming attacks. So I could have been a bit more aggressive with him, but if he'd eaten a cannonball, I would have just lost a load of points, and I didn't really need him at that point. Warriors didn't really do much for me. They certainly helped when they're buffed up, which leads me to the conclusion, again, that they really need the magic support to be useful. They're just too kind of vulnerable, relative to the rest of the army at least. And when my Demon Prince is off being a hero by himself, they're just not getting that level of support. So I'm still confident that I really need to do something about that, i.e. having a level 4 and just toning down the Demon Prince a bit, because he seems pretty survivable on his own, even without those lore attributes going off. Because although I like the lore attributes, it doesn't happen often enough to be that reliable. So yeah, I'm quite happy with him not being a wizard. Plus, it also means that he's not going to get a miscast and get sucked into the void, which I'm always worried about. Even though I'm like throwing 3 dice at spells most of the time anyway. But you know, there's going to be one occasion where I'm going to get a double 6 and it's going to hurt. So I just want to take that risk away. The BSB getting sniped is well, so I was due some luck, so fair play. But yeah, that BSB is doomed. I made the model a Nurgle model, obviously fit the Nurgle unit, and ever since I've used him, he's died twice now from the most ridiculous things. So even though he's tooled up to the max, the Gorbish Chariot didn't really get to do much, but that's fair enough. I still really like those.
Helped against the Demon X though, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it did actually. Yeah, it charged in there, and even after the enfeebling on the Skull Crushers, that was still pumping out its max strength attacks, which helped towards the combat res, didn't it? So. Hell Cannon was performing quite a few trick shots this game, trying to ricochet things off people's heads. Yeah,
That's
so
excellent.
Tried to shoot the Keeper this time, ricocheted off of it and hit Skull Taker. And the previous game it actually shot at a cannon, ricocheted off and hit the Keeper of Secrets, so swings and roundabouts. And it managed to kill a Beast of Noble, so even though it didn't actually hit anything close. Oh, it killed 5 bloodletters as well, so still love the model, so it's always going to be in my army. Demon Prince was awesome though, as normal. He cast loads of spells, helping people out. Got the lore attribute off twice. Charged into a tower full of angry bloodletters with Occam's Mind Rays on them, and still lived. So you can't really fault that. I was happy when he doesn't blow himself up. Dogs, most useful thing in the army. Good for redirecting, but I'm so scared of them panicking off something that isn't immune to psych. Luckily, most of my army is immune to psych, but that Chimera doesn't like being near those at all. Even with the Demon Prince nearby. I mean, they are like little buddies. They will give each other, give the Chimera leadership 9, but I just don't like having those dogs near him anyway. So I'm thinking about giving them Vanguard, so at least they can get in the way quicker, but I don't know. Just not a fan of the dogs, but I like them as a drop, so they're only 30 points. So, but yeah, so man of the match for me is probably Throg actually.
Yeah.
Killed a Keeper of Secrets. Single combat. Yeah, so Throg's the man. It's nice to see my Shaggoth actually getting used now. Because like I said, I'm going to use that as my Throg model. Not because I don't like the Finecast one. I do really like it, but it's 36 quid. And I'm probably not going to use the Shaggoth for anything other than this. So he's going to be Throg until further notice. And as he can kill Keeper of Secrets in single combat, then it's fine with me. So he's going to stay in the army. Really like the trolls as well. Yeah, so super happy with the game. Like I say, a really enjoyable game. Certainly liked what my army did. I think Sai obviously got a bit unlucky with his Occam's Mind Rays in the first turn, which obviously would have sorted me out and left me in a quite bad position if I lost the Skull Crushers. So I'm grateful he didn't actually get it off. So we've kind of got this gentleman's agreement now that we don't take Dispel Scrolls, just because they're really annoying. They just shut down a whole magic phase, and so if neither of us take them, then it's fair enough. And plus, he's playing Demons, so he can't actually take one anyway. So, I've just decided to be sporting and not take one either. But I probably would. Well, not in this army, just because I can't fit a random dude in to carry it. So, but yeah, I'm just annoyed with scroll caddies and that kind of thing. So, don't bother with those. Just live with it. Yeah, so yeah, I ain't really got much else to say. Luckily, we did amend the rules right at the start, like I said, just to give that 500 points. Otherwise, I probably would have won this because those bloodletters were going nowhere. With their stubborn 8 re-roll. But yeah, so yeah, okay. I'm going to hand you over to Si now because I've run out of things to say. So here you go.
Yeah, that great game was really good fun. I very much enjoyed it as well. Like I said, bit bad luck with the Occams on the first turn. I think had I managed to get that off when I had a sort of dice superiority, I could have killed the Skull Crushers because the number of hits I actually rolled. I think I got out of 29 attacks, I had 23 hits, and with 2 ups to wound and no armor save. That would have made that would have wiped the unit out entirely, which would have obviously left me in a much stronger position, because I would have been able to sort of move around and begin to work towards his taking his warriors. And then I think with being able to take the warriors out, I could have then just sort of held back with the cannons and try to work at his trolls, because obviously the trolls being extremely vulnerable to my cannons in particular, it sort of that would have made the best sense. Unfortunately, I didn't get Occam's off, so I was a little disappointed, but that's what happens. It's a bit of a crapper that I have to rely on getting that spell, which was one thing that does tend to bug me a bit. Is the reliance on getting that Occam's Mind Razor is a bit nasty.
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you can't take cheaper casters to have a more reliable. I mean, you can make your Herald level 1, but that's 35 points on top of a very expensive Herald anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. So she's 90 points bare, So you really need to give her a gift or two to get anything out of her, really. And like I say,
both on top of that as well.
yeah, that's it. So you're looking at getting close to 200 points. So it might be worth doing it to make it more reliable. But then, well, I don't know. The Loki to get always strikes first is pretty necessary, because Occam's Mind Razor plus that amount of attacks and
I think it's essential on the Daemons. That's what makes them so good.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, if I could get it on the bloodletters as well. I mean, that was essentially the plan, was to if I could wipe those out, then I'd be Occam's Mind Razoring the bloodletters every turn and basically holding that out, because Ollie wouldn't want to, like we showed there, Ollie would never want to really charge that many bloodletters with Occam's Mind Razor on, because, you know, even as buffed as he was, strength 8 would make a bit of a blender of him, and so yeah, it was a bit. That was the plan, at least, and like we say, I think I probably could have had a pretty good chance of winning had we kept playing as the bare rules. But considering that's how everyone else tends to play in the tournaments, and
yeah, even that Games Workshop tournament amended it, didn't they?
yeah, well, it's fair to be, because to be honest, yeah, I mean the
get an ogre gut star in there, it's just game over, isn't it?
Yeah, or the number of times that, you know, you had a unit of sort of 25 or 20 Zinch warriors with obviously the marker Zinch on them. You know, was it 3 up armor save and a 4 up ward? They just weren't going anywhere.
3 up, 5 up ward.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that good.
Thinking of something else.
Yeah, also the Chosen, the old school Chosen in there with the 3 up ward.
Yeah, would have been nasty. But
yeah, just any Death Star in a tower is just game over, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, you can't lose a game, and so Demons are pretty nice for holding. I mean, against most other things, they would have been great. I mean, Occam's against his warriors, they would have chopped them up nicely. Well, Occam's against pretty much anything would have chopped them up. I was quite pleased the amount of wounds I actually managed to put on that Demon Prince, because he was a tough bugger, and Ollie got the lore attribute off twice.
Yeah.
Although he was
still alive, isn't it?
Yeah, he was kind of due it.
5 wounds throughout the game.
Yeah. So
Got healed 1 back with Soul Feeder.
That's it. Yeah.
Attribute.
So I was close to killing him, because I think obviously had he lost his caster and I kind of had managed to keep even losing the Keeper of Secrets, if I'd still had the Demonettes, I think I probably still would have carried on, because that plus the 500 points for holding the Watchtower, I might have snuck a victory. But yeah, it was not to be. But it was a really good game. It was good fun. Lots of crazy stuff happened. Like the nerf to my the nerf to my ward save, which didn't actually make any difference whatsoever. Because it did right at the end of Ollie's go, where I had
3 5s or something.
Yeah, 3 5s and a 6. So I unfortunately had to lose a few more bloodletters, but other than that, it was that kind of Winds of Magic thick stuff didn't really bother me at all. It's quite funny managing to get a possible couple of hits on his Nurgle units. One day that will pay off. However, also one day it's going to start ganking my stuff, because there'll be stuff out for corn as well. So yeah, that was I think sort of, well, probably unit of the match has got to be the bloodletters who held the tower, doggedly refused to die.
I think actually everything.
All that cannon.
It was the BSB.
Yeah, that's it. I just couldn't get enough on it. I mean, Skull Crushers were just too tough. Yeah. I mean, my own Blood Crushers did what they were kind of I wanted them to do, which was hold his Demon Prince up for 2 combat turns. So yeah, those guys proved, but very, very ineffective towards the end. Managing to wipe a unit of Demonettes out, but not a bloody.
Because everyone knows cannons are ridiculously hard.
Yeah. Well, that one was, and yeah, I was quite pleased with how that went. But yeah, one day I'll manage to get Occam's off, and one day I might manage to put them away, or one day I might even manage to hit them with a cannon shot. Who knows? Because
don't go too far.
yeah, the plan was that I had 2 cannon shots at them, and I was hoping to score score 2 of them, but alas, that wasn't to be. So yeah, anyway, that will gave me plenty to think about. I think now when I look at what I want to order from Triple Helix, I think probably I'm just going to go and get myself some more Bloodletters, some more Demonettes, and I think probably a couple of cannons, to be honest. I quite like the cannons.
Yeah, just save the cannon bit off of it, there's chariots.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of think sort of 2 seems to give me more options rather than 1. I think probably the Ogre Army. And, you know, I keep saying that I will hit stuff with it. And yeah, I killed a BSB, you know. I can't complain too much there. So, yeah. So I think I'll probably be getting some stuff ordered soon. So hopefully you'll see 1 or 2 more models other than, well, the same old proxy I think I've been showing you for the last year or so. One day I might even finish the Ogre Army so they can go back to just solely being Skaven cannons. But yeah, one day maybe the Skaven will have a go at bloody shooting that Demon Prince. Although I'll probably keep rolling like strength 2 or something like that, which is normally the way for the Skaven cannon. Oh yes, and of course it ignores armour saves as well. Which is always rather good. Oh well, they do anyway. So.
You're in dream mode, so.
Yeah. Well, talking of dreams, I had one where I rolled a lot of 1s, and unfortunately, that part of the dream came true midway through the game. But well, that's same old for me. But yeah, we must continue. I shall be having more thoughts on my army, ready for next week's game. So with that, we will see you later.